I'm excited to be joined by my good friend Seth Vorseth, local TI guy, and we are coming from Sulphur, Kentucky, just outside of Louisville.
Yeah.
And we ride and train together. You guys have probably seen some of those videos, but excited to have him on today and want to ask specifically about how long you've been riding trials and how long you've been riding nationals.
So I've been riding trials for around 8 years with the local TI crowd, having fun with that. And then I think my first national was in 2018 at TTC. So I think I only did the East Coast in 2019, and then I've been riding every single one I can since.
We'll have a lot of great experience coming from you with your vast years of doing it. And what bike are you going to be riding this year?
I'll be riding a Beta 250 Factory Evo. And I was on a 300 on a separate bike manufacturer, and it wasn't quite gelling with me. I was on a 250 before that, so something about the 250 I love, so it's the bike I choose.
Awesome. Right blend of power. Awesome.
Yeah,
So, in your experience with riding nationals and even local events, can you talk to me a little bit about competition and scoring? I know sometimes it can be challenging to
yeah,
maintain focus, and especially you've been in the hunt for a championship. So, talk to me a
yeah.
little bit about the pressures and how you deal with that as it relates to competition strategy and the mental game.
So in the past, and I'm kind of giving back to it, I've not looked at my scores, so uh, I've realized what I did in 2019 with when I competed and got a championship is that I didn't look at scores, didn't know my scores, didn't think about what I did the last section. I kind of rode, walked every single section, got to every section, told myself that kind of me knowing, ride the best you can. It doesn't matter. Rest is just best you can every single section. And if you ride the best you can, the scores don't really matter because the total will, or the event, the end circumstance will be what it is, what it is. You rode your best, and if the best wasn't good enough, but it wasn't good enough.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So it kind of just sounds like staying present in the moment instead of thinking about the event as a whole and letting pressures build up was really
yeah,
helpful for you. And I've been incorporating that as well. I used to look at the scores a lot more because I'm curious to know. And Ti does a great job in the nationals of posting those scores so you can see them after each loop. But it's probably best just to stay right in that zone of focus, right?
yeah, it can be helpful to look at the scores for sure. If you are really tight with these guys and that he rides his best, you ride your best, and it's always close, you can always, or if you're, what happened to me at TTC last year is that I wasn't feeling good going to the last loop. I kind of rushed. I took my time the first loop, rushed the second, and then I just was feeling terrible. So I sat in the pit for a couple extra minutes than my usual, and then looked at the scores, and then I kind of waited for him to go look at his first. So I looked at mine afterwards, and it was closer than I thought. So it rejuvenized me to slow down, take my time the last loop, and get all those cleans, ride the best I can, and
Right, right.
it helped that way. But
Yeah.
oh, and also with Sam at TI, the one time I got him at uh what was it, Summers Compound. I was looking at my scores, seeing how close it was. I just knew I only needed to get like two or three or less, or it was like there was a 2 point gap, so I was able to use that going into the last lap as well.
Gotcha. So maybe if you're feeling a little bit down about your score and thinking you're riding poorly, by looking at the score, in some instances, it can actually be helpful because it says, oh, I'm still
Yeah,
closer than I thought.
or it can make things a lot worse. You see that you're feeling bad, and you look at your scores, and it's worse than you thought, and then it's not a good feeling.
All right, so we might just go back to not looking at anyone's score.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's what I've gotten to, but that was my journey this year, figuring that out again.
yeah. So as it relates to national competition and observers and checkers, how have you worked through that? Do you have any advice or tips for engaging with the checkers?
So I usually talk to the checkers, make them part of the trial. They're there volunteering. There's no reason to get really angry at them. If you do disagree with a mark or points or decision they made, you can always write that P onto the your scorecard for that section and then dispute it later because there's probably other people wanting to ride the section. You arguing with the guy usually doesn't get anywhere because they already marked your card. So
Yeah.
it's make sure before you leave, always get that P written down for protest. But that's how I dealt with it. Always, if I find out that I'm in the wrong for getting kind of frustrated about it, always talk to that checker I kind of got frustrated with to say sorry, and they are always appreciative of it. I just know that they're volunteering, and it's best to keep them like humans, not
Sure.
not some workers.
Yeah, just to respect everyone and maintain your composure, it sounds like. That way you can, as we said, maintain your focus to be in the present moment for the next
Yeah,
lap or the next section.
you always get pissed
Awesome.
off, and it carries on to the next section, so it's it's always
Right.
great.
You can't do anything about what they scored you on. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, so as it relates to, you've ridden with a minder, you've ridden without one, and I imagine if someone's considering entering or, younger, they might need a little help. It's a big loop. They don't want to get lost or someone to help carry stuff. Talk to me about the difference between riding with a minder and without a minder and what your thoughts are on that.
I think I need to get more experience with riding with a minder, but I can see the benefit helping you. I usually would have to carry my water to the end of the section, my pack, but it'd be really great if someone else could pick that up for me or actually have a dedicated person to spot for a certain obstacle. It's not always needed every section for my line, but it helps the confidence boost. Uh, to have an extra set of eyes too, just to look at things, and also just another thought process. So usually I would ride by myself. I chat with the other riders, which is always great. And you can, if you have someone with your equal level, they can talk to you as well. If you have a dedicated person to talk to, you have your own strategy instead of kind of communicating with other riders, which I don't mind them knowing what I'm going to do. So it's they can try it or not. But it's good to have. It's just another mind, another set of eyes, and another helping hand that really helps a lot. And also uh, having a bike that you can take parts off of. So having a similar bike, I ran into a problem in uh, Florida. I got a flat tire on the loop, and luckily I had uh, Preston's dad, Adam, come and help me, and we changed front wheels. So he rode. This is all at section 2, so he rode the rest of the loop with my flat front tire, and then then I rode with his new wheel for the rest of the competition. So or I think we switched off somewhere, but it helped a lot instead of having to ride a flat tire all the way back. So
Yeah,
helped.
yeah, for sure. It sounds like there's quite a bit of advantages if you can get a minder, but if you can't, sometimes utilizing other participants, other people riding your line, you can still pick their brain and
Yeah,
and even ask them for a spot as well if they need it. So
yeah. You can
awesome,
always
awesome.
do that with a minder as well, just to it helps a lot to figure out what they're thinking of.
Yeah, yeah. So it's more a little bit like a team sport instead of an individual. So
Yeah.
awesome. Well, Seth, I appreciate your time. It's great chatting with you, and I look forward to riding this year with you and continue to train. So
Yeah.
thanks for being on the show.
No problem. Thank you, Tom.